Second year, just because I started to, enjoy college so much, I actually shifted in a flat which was very close to my.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning into De-Education. In today's episode, we have a very special guest with us. Hi, Manas. Welcome to De-Education.
Hey, hi, Tejj. Thanks for having me here.
So, Manas, how was your day so far?
Good, good. I just love, mornings in the weekend. You can wake up around, say, have your cup of chai, and there's no rush, there's no hurry about getting to office or getting started with work. It's just at your own pace, no timeline.
That's wonderful, Manas. So, for the viewers, in this episode, we'll be talking to Manas on his experience at Symbiosis Design School. And throughout the episode, Manas will share his journey, his experiences about the college, the fee structure, and the learnings that he has attained after the degree. So, over to you, Manas, if you could give a brief about yourself to our viewers out there.
So, hi, my name is Manas, and I have graduated from Symbiosis Institute of Design. So, that's where I've done my BDES, which is a 4-year course in user experience design. And currently, I'm in Bangalore. I'm working with a fintech startup called Cash Free Payments, and I'm working here as a product designer.
That's great, Manas. So, if you could walk us through your journey and why did you choose design as a course right after your 12th standard? And what was your thought process and why did you choose Symbiosis for your bachelor's degree?
So basically, my design journey started somewhere towards the end of 11th, wherein it was just like any other day, right? I just finished dinner with my family and I was just sitting in the living room, wherein my parents asked me, "Ki, what are your plans? What do you want to do after 12th? Have you thought about anything?" And I said in the most, casual manner, ki, or kya hai? Engineering, right? What else is there? And that's where I also somewhere realized ki maybe I'm not aware of the options. And my parents definitely thought so. So that's where both of my parents kind of told me about their fields. My mom is a doctor. She told me a little bit about medicine, but that was totally out of the question because I had already taken computer science in 11th and 12th. And that's where my father, who happens to be a designer himself, he told me and introduced me to the field of design. So that's pretty much where my design journey began. And I ended up, I started to shadow him in some of his events, or I started to ask him questions about what he exactly does, right? Because that time design was so new to me. And I was like, okay, I mean, I like computer science, I like technology, but what is exactly a role of a designer? Like, what is a designer and how is it different from say, a developer? So that's where I started to shadow him into a couple of events. I also attended my first, UX conference when I was in 12th, and I was just a science student back then. So after attending a lot of these events and conferences, I also joined the design coaching just to be sure that this is exactly what I wanted to do. And that's where I made up my mind. I was like, this is exactly what I want to do, right? I absolutely love design and sort of some of the things that kind of stuck out or like stood out for me in design was design has so much to do not just with technology and science, but it has so much to do with people, right? I think it's a perfect sort of a amalgam between science, technology at one end, and people and psychology on the other. So and being a designer, it's not like you have to sit in front of your laptop all day and you're just writing doing your whatever screens. It's a large part of being a designer actually happens outside your computer, right? Where you actually interact with human beings. You try to understand ki, hey, like what are your difficulties, what are your problems. But that time it was like very sort of a very vague understanding of what I had was design is about finding the right problems also, and that is something which intrigued me a lot into the field of design early on. So that's where I pretty much made up my mind, and I was like, "Chalo, design karna hai." So now let's start looking at options into where I can do a degree in design in terms of my bachelor's.
So, Manas, what made you choose Symbiosis and what all other design exams you wrote?
Right. So, as I told you, right, I was a little keen on user experience since the very beginning. So, one of the criteria that I was, having in my mind was I really want to pursue BDES in user experience. So, I wanted the specialization to be user experience design or interaction design, as it's offered by, certain colleges. So that way, I had kind of selected some colleges like NID, IDC, and apart from that, there were some private colleges like Srishti, MIT, UID, and Symbiosis. I think, yeah, these four and these two are these are the exams that I had kind of given. Though out of that, I was not quite very keen on, say, colleges like NID because they did not have user experience in their bachelor's level. So if I would have opted there, and then probably I would have had to opt for product design. Though IDC had a course in interaction design, and so did Symbiosis. And one of the reason that another reason that I chose kind of Symbiosis was in 12th, I actually got a chance to, come to campus, talk to some students here about how they are, liking college. I was able to interact with some faculty. I was also able to look at some of the students' work that was actually posted in the campus and all around. And also, I actually happened to be from Pune. So that was an added plus. I'm getting to do the course that I want in my hometown. So in 12th, I was in Bangalore. So I was able to go back to Pune and, learn in Symbiosis. So yeah, course was something that really made me go to Symbiosis.
That's great, Manas. So let's talk about your journey into Symbiosis and the course structure. So if you could just walk us through what was the overall course structure like, and what are the best parts that you liked about that course structure? What are the learnings that you have attained after joining the college?
Right. Okay. So, first of all, this has been a while back. I mean, now it's like about 5.5 years back or so, because I was from the batch of 2017-21. So, I took admission in 2017. So yeah, but one thing for sure, I've really liked something. One thing that I've really liked about Symbiosis is their course structure. So I'll tell you how the course was actually divided, or kind of split across for us. So in the first year, that was a foundation year for us, in which all the different specializations. So Symbiosis offers a lot of specializations, like be it fashion design, fashion communication, graphic, product, animation, and so on. So all of these specializations, no matter what your specialization is, you were in the same class, or you were in a mixed sort of classes. So that was basically the foundation year, where we were taught the very cores and the basic fundamentals of design. So we were taught things like, what are the design principles, what are the design elements when it comes to visual design, and then it was extremely exploratory, and also it engaged in improving our hands-on skills, which is a lot of be it sketching, be it understanding colors and things like color theory. So these were the basics that we were taught in first year. And in second year, there was one level of split. What I mean by that is we were kind of split into our disciplines. So wherein the fashion communication became one discipline, then product design, industrial design became the second discipline, and there was the communication design, which was the big chunk, which consisted of user experience, graphic design, also VFD, which is the video film, and animation. So this was the third sort of the category or the discipline. And in second year in communication, we were taught like the basics of say graphic design, or kind of basics of all that, whatever specializations there were in communication design. So we had courses like introduction to user experience, we had introduction to graphic design, introduction to animation, and then we were also taught some basic concepts like layouting, understanding the visual hierarchy, and how to create quick sketching, or be it like thumbnails to kind of quickly represent your idea, uh, basic rules, and even things like photography, which kind of gives a very good sense of layouting to you as a designer, right? So these were the kind of fundamental courses that we were taught in second year. And in third year, we were split even further. So now from disciplines, we went into our core specializations in third year. So which is where I got into user experience design, and the entire user experience that we talk about today, right, which consists of the entire design process, be it design research, then it's about ideation, then prototyping. So all of these things were actually introduced to us in third year. So we kind of deep dived into user experience in third year. And fourth year was pretty much, third and fourth year were kind of similar. We are learning so many new aspects and going into each and every step of the design process, understanding right everything, right from how to do research to even how to kind of create prototypes in whatever tool that you want, be it Figma or Adobe XD, and so on. And fourth year's ka jo last semester hai, that was completely internship. So we had a industry internship for the last year, which was about 5, 6 months internship. And yeah, that's how the course was designed, and I really liked it. But before I say, I believe we were the last batch to have a foundation year, a common foundation year. So that is something we did not. I mean, we also said ki that's pretty sad for our juniors, because I remember people who entered the college in 2018, their foundation was matlab they were split in foundation level itself. So people used to sit alag alag, like people who are in user experience will sit differently, fashion differently, product differently. So that is something I'm not sure how it's working out now, but our batch definitely enjoyed sitting together and learning from each other in common foundation year. So that was great. I'm not sure about what is happening now.
Thank you so much, Manas, for walking us in such great detail. So, I wanted to understand how was your experience in terms of getting an internship right from the college, and what is your current connection with college, and how's the alumni network of the college?
Oh, actually, Symbiosis is actually pretty good when it comes to having a good alumni network. Actually, in third year, I was a part of the student council myself, wherein I was heading the alumni relations portfolio. So I got a chance to interact with some really good alumni who are doing really cool things out there in the industry now. And one more thing that Symbiosis kind of does very often is we have a bunch of events in college. Like we have so many events. Like we have the very much spoken about and the popular college fest called the Fundamental. And apart from that, also we have 24-hour sketchathon, which is Laksha. We have different events for each specializations pretty much. So we have CHAP, which is a branding seminar or a design or a branding event for the graphic design students. We have something called Anubhav, which means experience, right? So we have a experience, user experience related event also. So all of these events and so many other things like Typo Day and all of these that we used to have in college, we used to always make sure we called alumni into those as guest speakers, or as facilitators of even some external courses that we were taught by our alumni. So that way they were great. Like we were able to keep in touch and even understand how kind of they took it forward after graduating. How did they kind of take it forward in terms of their careers? What did they do after graduating from Symbiosis? So alumni network is pretty strong when it comes to Symbiosis. I mean, if I were to compare that with other private colleges, at least we have a very good alumni network. Oh, I've started calling V. I've literally started calling VI. I forgot I'm no longer in the alumni cell now in college. But yeah, super connected to college still. That's for sure. I still follow up on what's happening. Still connected to some students who are studying there, and I really like to keep in touch with what's happening to our beloved fest, which is the Fundamental. And probably I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. Apart from that, I was also involved in the placements. I was in the placement cell as well, a part of that as a volunteer right from my first year. So that's why I was involved with what sort of companies that Symbiosis gets. And as far as the stats are concerned, I remember at least back during our batches and a couple of years, like say 2020, 2021. 2020 was hit because of COVID, but at least before that and after that, at least for user experience, I believe we had 100% placement rate at least. So if that's something that fascinates you, Symbiosis is a good college because you almost short get a job, I guess, if you're in user experience, that is. But yeah, I mean, I was not really that much focused on what companies a college has to offer, because there's so much more that Symbiosis offers, that this is just something towards the end, like a cherry on the top of the cake, pretty much. I got a chance to intern with HP. So during my, I believe they had, so basically for internship also, the college reaches out to a lot of companies, and, they come to even hire interns. So during our last internship also and the placements, we have companies that come in and take interns and places people in their companies. So I interned with HP, and Symbiosis itself had got them to campus. It was like a campus sort of an interview, though it was in COVID, so it was completely online. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much, Manas. Sounds like it was super fun and learning in your college. So, wanted to understand how college incubates a culture of creativity and collaboration, because those are the major aspects of design. So, you could talk about the different events that college has conducted and how you have learned different things during those events.
So I think one of the core sort of the USP of studying in Symbiosis Institute of Design would be the events, or pretty much the main sort of the fest that we all students really love, which is the Fundamental. We call it the FDM. And I think a large part of my learning throughout my 4 years of design education has actually come from these events, primarily the fundamental. So basically, I'll tell you a little bit about the event, which is fundamental is basically the student fest. Every year we have the student fest. And so, fest is a lot of work, right? So there are so many different portfolios working on so many different things. And if you're a student who's really involved in a lot of things, and if you like to do a lot of things, which I got a chance to do, and I was really happy to do that. There's a lot of work. Matlab, we used to, there are so many things. Like, for example, College Fest requires registration, so you need to go from colleges to colleges to promote your festival. And there is also the creatives teams which will make all the creatives. There's also an installations team which actually builds and creates installations that are placed throughout the campus. And there are a lot of events that are organized for the students coming in from other colleges. There are so many things. Like, we also have culturals in which people could take part in, be it singing, be it dance. And I think why I keep saying ki, a lot of my learning has come from there is because in Symbiosis, a large part of your learning actually comes outside your classroom, wherein when you're talking to other students, when you're actually interacting with your seniors and even your juniors, right? So when you're interacting with them, you're actually learning so much more than what you could possibly learn in the classroom, right? Classroom is very like focused on giving you that knowledge or like that content. But out there, outside the classroom, you're actually putting it to use. Like, for instance, if you're a product designer at SID, during our fest FDM, you get a chance to actually put your product design skill hands on and create these installations that are placed across campus, right? Or be it if you're into graphic design, then you're actually responsible for creating all sorts of promo and creatives that go across social media and that are actually printed out all the banners and everything. So all these events actually give you a chance to use whatever you're learning in the classroom, put it to test. And it also, while you're doing that, you almost obviously end up collaborating and working with so many different peers and your juniors and seniors, right? So that way you learn so much more about collaboration, so much more about how to work with, how to sometimes get work done if you're one of the seniors, and if you're one of the juniors, then how to get the work done also and still enjoy the time, because we used to stay up in college throughout the night during our festival. So there is the month, like in the months of December and January, we used to stay up in college till 3 4 a.m. literally. So after our college is done, we would stay back and complete night we would do the preparation for our events. Even other events, like I talked about Sharp and Anubhav, right? Wherein we have a lot of exhibitions that we set up, and students are the ones who are involved in sometimes contacting alumni, calling them to colleges, and also kind of putting up exhibitions, be it your photography exhibition, be it your graphic design work. So all that is completely hands-on, and you learn so much more because you're talking to everybody but your batchmates, right? Because the entire student community is coming together to pull that event off. So it's brilliant. Matlab, I think that's what sets Symbiosis apart.
Thank you so much, Manas. So now let's talk about the fee structure and accommodation. So how was your fee structure like, and is there any accommodation that college provides?
I think I vaguely recall the fees were around 16 lakhs. That would be for 4 years. So I roughly average comes down to about 4 lakhs per year. And accommodation, at least back like when I was there, they did not have a boys' hostel as such. At least in my first and second year, they did not have a boys' hostel. I think in my third year or so, they had a boys' hostel, which was just one. So they were only allowing students in first year guys to stay. But yeah, girls do have, I think, 2, 3 hostels are set up across Viman Nagar. But the good thing about Symbiosis is it's located in Viman Nagar in Pune, and that entire area has a couple of other Symbiosis institutes and colleges. That entire area is pretty much like the student hub. So everywhere you go, there are very very accessible and fairly decent even PGs and flats that you can share with your flatmates. Even though I never required any of it because matlab, my hometown was in Pune, so I had home. I used to go, do to and fro. But in second year, just because I started to enjoy college so much, I actually shifted in a flat which was very close to my college with a couple of my friends. So that was an experience altogether, right? We were a walking distance from college, so we could stay up in college late or and stuff like that. So one thing is Symbiosis doesn't have that big of a campus, there are no hostels inside the campus. Even the hostels that I spoke about, be it one boys or two, three girls hostels, they're actually outside the college parameters. So pretty much that entire area, which is Viman Nagar, becomes your college life. Pretty much. That's the good part about Symbiosis.
So before we wrap up, Manas, wanted to understand how did design education had helped you shape into a better designer?
So I think overall I shared so much about my college, right? So there's a clear sense that I think I made the most out of my college life, and I enjoyed each and every bit of it. But apart from that, I think college gave me so much more, right? One thing that I think my 4 years of design education gave me is, at least while I was in college, it gave me sort of like this sandbox sort of a mode in which I can go experiment, make mistakes, and it was totally okay to make mistakes and go to your faculty with something that is so wrong, be it your projects or even in terms of academics or even in terms of your personal life, right? It gave you the space to go out there, experiment and make mistakes. So this learning is extremely important, that I've kind of taken away from my formal education, and that is being used not just in my personal life, but I'm also able to use that in at work and in everything I do. And apart from that, I believe it has given me a very distinct way of thinking, right? It has definitely matured my thinking process as a whole. So which helps me tackle problems, not just be it design problems at work, even problems that sometimes occur in your personal life. There's a way to tackle that, and you're just matured enough to just bring it on. Matlab kuch bhi ho sakta hai, I'll do anything. That sort of my attitude is something that Symbiosis has developed in me. So yeah, I mean, apart from that, I think one more thing that I've kind of started to notice is all of my foundations, or the cores, or be it all the basics of the fundamentals of the design, those things are so much more clear to me. That is why I don't really need to spend a lot of time whenever I'm tackling new projects to kind of revisit or relearn some fundamentals. So I don't know if everybody has that experience, but some of my friends have actually told me that who have done design courses which are just like 2 months course, or be it even a 6 months course. They have told me ki okay, they're able to do UX job, they're able to get the wireframes or get those prototypes done, get those screens made, but sometimes their design fundamentals are they seem to have some sort of problem there. So they feel ki they should have done a bachelor's degree just to make sure your fundamentals are clear. Matlab, everything else can be learned afterwards, but those core skills which you require for design, which is like just getting your basics right, I think that is something a bachelor's degree does very well for you. So that's pretty.
Thank you so much, Manas, for sharing all these wonderful insights with us. And folks who are watching this video, if you have any doubts or if you want to connect with Manas, I'll be attaching his Instagram link below. Feel free to reach out to Manas and get your all doubts solved. Thanks once again, Manas, for being part of this. And we are looking forward to host you again very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.